just wait. Welcome to this meeting of the Standing Committee on Social Development. The review of Bills 41, Justice Administration Statutes Amendment Act, and Bill 39, an act to amend the Post-Secondary Education Act. Welcome to the meeting. I'm going to ask that all members introduce themselves for the record. Starting with Mr. Bonnetrouge.
Ron Bonnetrouge, MLA Detro, my seat.
Caitlin Cleveland, MLA Cam Lake.
Lisa Semler, MLA Inuvik Twin Lakes.
Rocky Simpson, Hay River South.
Kevin O'Reilly, Frame Lake.
And I'm Katrina Knockleby. I'm the MLA for Great Slave. I'd like to welcome our committee staff. We have Toby Kruger, our law clerk, with us, Kathleen Notch, our committee advisor, Taylor Maxwell, our committee support officer intern, and Michael Ball, the committee clerk. This afternoon, the Standing Committee on Social Development is reviewing Bill 41, Justice Administration Statutes Amendment Act, and Bill 39, an act to amend the Post-Secondary Education Act. Both bills are available on the Legislative Assembly website. Bill 41 was referred to the Standing Committee for review on December 7th, 2021, and amends the Jury Act and the Summary Conviction Procedures Act to reflect changes made to the Criminal Code of Canada. It further amends the Summary Conviction Procedures Act to clarify the role of the Attorney General for the Northwest Territories under the Act. It also amends the Partnership and Business Names Act to recognize the authority of an Indian band to be a limited partner in a limited partnership. Bill 39 was referred to the Standing Committee for review on November 25th, 2021, and it amends the Post-Secondary Education Act to remove a precondition to being recognized as an Indigenous institution, allow for the charging of fees and costs related to applications and quality assurance review processes, require a quality assurance review of an application for registration as a private training institution and for a renewal of that registration, clarify the role of a post-secondary education advisory committee, and give the minister additional powers with respect to the establishment of a committee and standards a committee must follow. Allow for regulations to prescribe the quality assurance body to which a particular type of application is referred and to prescribe matters relating to that referral. Allow the minister to order a refund of tuition fees on suspension or revocation of an authorization, require certain bonds or other governing bodies to establish quality assurance processes for programs of study offered by an institution, and improve the use of consistent language throughout the Act. Committee, we will first review Bill 41, Justice Administration Statutes Amendment Act. I will now invite the Honourable R.J. Simpson, Minister of Justice, to deliver any opening remarks on Bill 41. Following the Minister's remarks, committee members may make comments or pose questions on the bill. Minister Simpson, please introduce your staff for the record and proceed with any opening remarks you may have on the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With me today as witnesses, I have Brad Patzer, Assistant Deputy Minister, Attorney General, and Ian Rennie, Acting Director, Legislation Division. I'm here today to present Bill 41, the Justice Administration Statutes Amendment Act. Bill 41 is an omnibus bill that collectively advances amendments to three pieces of legislation: the Jury Act, the Summary Conviction Procedures Act, and the Partnership Business Names Act. This approach was taken to streamline the process for advancing these three relatively minor amendments in a more efficient manner. The changes being proposed for the Jury Act will ensure that territorial legislation regarding jury qualification standards match those of the Criminal Code as amended in 2019. The changes proposed for the Summary Conviction Procedures Act will ensure that forms of release referenced coincide with the Criminal Code as amended in 2019. The changes to the Act will also ensure that appropriate language is included to fully authorize the prosecution and appeal of territorial offences on behalf of the Attorney General of the NWT, while also ensuring that the legislation allows for efficient payment and processing of specified penalties as set out in the Summary Offence Ticket Informations. Finally, the Partnership and Business Names Act will be amended by expanding the definition of a person to allow First Nations or Indian bands as defined under the Federal Indian Act to be limited partners in a limited partnership for the purposes of the Partnership and Business Names Act. This concludes my opening remarks, and I'd be pleased to answer any questions that members may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Simpson. Committee, I'll now open the floor to any questions or comments on the Act. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Seeing none, I believe we are now concluded with this stage of our review. Committee, we have received no submissions from the public on Bill 41, and there have been no requests to appear before the committee today. Does the committee agree to proceed to a clause-by-clause review of Bill 41, the Justice Administration Statutes Amendment Act?
Agreed.
Committee, please turn to page 1 of the bill. Clause 1, does committee agree?
Agree.
Clause 2, does committee agree?
Agreed.
Agree.
Clause 3, committee agree?
Agree.
Clause 4, does committee agree?
Agree.
Agreed.
Clause 5, does committee agree?
Agree.
Clause 6, does committee agree?
Agree.
Agreed.
Clause 7, does committee agree?
Agree.
Agreed.
Clause 8, does committee agree?
Agree.
Agreed.
And clause 9, does committee agree?
Agree. Uh-huh.
Does the committee agree that Bill 41, Justice Administration Statutes Amendment Act is now ready for consideration in Committee of the Whole? MLA Simpson?
I move that Bill 41, Justice Administration Statutes Amendment Act, be reported to the Assembly as ready for consideration in Committee of the Whole. Thank you.
The motion is in order. To the motion?
Question.
Question has been called. All those in favor? See some hand waves. All those opposed? No. Motion is carried. Bill 41, Justice Administration Statutes Amendment Act will be reported to the Assembly as ready for consideration in Committee of the Whole. Thank you, Mr. Minister. Thanks to your officials. Members, we will now consider Bill 39, an act to amend the Post-Secondary Education Act. Does committee agree?
Agree.
Agreed.
Thank you. I will now invite the Honourable R.J. Simpson, Minister of Justice, to deliver any opening remarks on Bill 39. Following the Minister's remarks, committee members may make comments or pose questions on the bill. Minister Simpson, please introduce your staff for the record and proceed with any opening remarks you may have on the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I could get about a couple minutes to get the staff on the line. I think this was, they expected to be on at 12:30. So if you can give us till maybe 10 after, and I should be able to get everyone on the line, then we can get started, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine. We actually had a quite an easy and smooth intro this morning, which is not maybe our norm. So yes, please go ahead and take those minutes. We'll be right back. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
We now have Minister Simpson. Minister Simpson, if you'd like to start with introducing your staff and your opening remarks, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for inviting me to speak to you and the members of the committee about Bill 39, an act to amend the Post-Secondary Education Act. I am joined today by John MacDonald, Deputy Minister of Education, Culture and Employment, Andrea Giesbrick, Director, Labour Development Standards, Megan Wahlberg, Director, Policy, Legislation and Communications, Sherry Girock, Legislation Division with the Department of Justice, and my Ministerial Special Advisor, Ronna Sherigan. The Post-Secondary Education Act received assent on August 21st, 2019, and is not yet in force. The Act creates a structure for recognizing post-secondary institutions within the NWT and will enable the transformation of Aurora College into a polytechnic university. This bill, John MacDonald, Deputy Minister of Education, Culture and Employment, Andrea Giesbrick. This bill seeks to amend the Post-Secondary Education Act to address gaps or inconsistencies in the Act that were identified during the ongoing drafting of the related regulations. As well, an opportunity was identified to amend the section on Indigenous institutions to ensure it is more closely aligned with the 19th Legislative Assembly priority to implement the Articles of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Bill 39 will first remove an extra barrier for the recognition of Indigenous institutions by removing the requirement that Indigenous institutions first become recognized as post-secondary institutions through a separate process. This recognition process for Indigenous institutions will be determined through engagement with post-secondary and Indigenous government partners and will be set out in regulations. Bill 39 will also establish authority for fees and charges to be collected for certain services, such as quality assurance reviews or applications, to ensure consistency and clarity within the Act. Additionally, the bill will clarify the role and authority of the Post-Secondary Education Advisory Committee, which will serve as the internal quality assurance body for non-degree granting institutions, and will establish a quality assurance requirement for private vocational training programs and private training institutions that is currently missing from the Act. I wish to thank committee for its thoughtful review and collaboration in helping to strengthen this bill through the motions that I believe will be forthcoming. Madam Chair, this concludes my opening remarks, and I'll be happy to answer any questions committee may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Minister, and thank you to your staff. Committee, I will now open the floor for any comments or questions. Seeing and hearing none, we will, sorry, just lost my spot here. I believe we are now concluded with this stage of our review. Committee, we received several submissions from the public on Bill 39, and I thank these stakeholders for taking the time to share their thoughts with us. There have been no requests to appear before the committee today. Does the committee agree to proceed to a clause-by-clause review of Bill 39, an act to amend the Post-Secondary Education Act?
Agree.
Agreed.
Thank you. Where possible, I will call clauses in groups. Does committee agree?
Agree.
Agreed.
Committee, please turn to page 1 of the bill. Clauses 1 and 2, does committee agree?
Agreed.
Clause 3, does committee agree?
Agree.
Agreed.
MLA Simpson?
Thank you. I move that Clause 3 of Bill 39 be amended, bracket A, by deleting proposed paragraphs 7, bracket 1, bracket B, and bracket C, and substituting the following. Bracket B, advise the minister at the minister's request on matters of quality assurance in post-secondary education in the Northwest Territories, and bracket C, perform other duties with respect to matters of quality assurance in post-secondary education in the Northwest Territories as directed by the minister. Bracket B, by adding the following after proposed subclause clause 7, bracket 2. 2.1. In appointing members of the committee under subsection 2, the minister shall make reasonable efforts to ensure that the membership of the committee reflects the unique and diverse values, histories, and people of the Northwest Territories. Thank you.
The motion is in order. To the motion?
Question.
Question has been called. All those in favor?
Madam Chair, I just had my hand up for a second.
Oh, sorry, we don't have your video, Mr. O'Reilly, that's why. Please go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm sorry I can see myself, but on the last part of the amendment, it says committee reflects the unique and diverse values, histories, and people of the Northwest Territories. Is it too late to change that to peoples? Because I think it should be a plural to properly reflect that we, there's Dene people, there's Métis, there's Inuvialuit, to provide proper recognition to all the Indigenous peoples of the Northwest Territories. Is that possible to add an S on at this point, or is it too late? Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member O'Reilly. I will pass that over to Mr. Kruger for response. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. The answer is technically no, it's not too late. It could be done. However, we did discuss this, and in my view, anyways, there's no legal difference between people and peoples. People encompasses the plural. This is also consistent with the drafting on Bill 30 as well, where analogous language was used and where this language was borrowed from. And so if there were to be an amendment here, there would be an inconsistency with the amendment to the previous bill. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Kruger. The motion is in order. To the motion?
Question.
Question. Question has been called. All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Yep.
All those opposed? The motion is carried. Does the Minister of Education, Culture and Employment concur with the amendment?
I concur.
Great. Committee, the Minister concurs with the motion. Clause 3 has been amended. To Clause 3 as amended, does committee agree?
Agreed.
MLA Simpson? MLA Simpson?
Thank you. I move that Clause 3 of Bill 39 be amended by adding the following after Subclause 7, bracket 2.1. Bracket 2.2. At least one half of the members appointed by the Minister to a committee under subsection bracket 2 must be Indigenous residents of the Northwest Territories. Thank you.
Thank you. The motion is in order. To the motion?
Question.
Question has been called. All those in favor?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
All those opposed? The motion is carried. Does the Minister of Education, Culture and Employment concur with the amendment?
No, I do not concur.
Committee, the Minister does not concur with the amendment. The amendment will not take effect. To Clause 3 as amended, does committee agree?
Agreed.
Clauses 4 and 5, does committee agree?
Agree.
Clauses 6 to 10, does committee agree?
Agree.
Clauses 11 to 14, does committee agree?
Agree.
Clause 15, does committee agree? MLA Simpson.
Thank you. I move that Clause 15 of Bill 39 be amended, bracket A, by striking out subsection 21, bracket 1, and substituting section 21, and bracket B by adding the following after proposed subclause 21, bracket 1. Bracket 2. The Minister may, in accordance with any applicable regulations, renew an authorization given under subsection 20, bracket 1 or bracket 2, and may attach any terms or conditions to that authorization that the Minister considers appropriate. Thank you.
The motion is in order. To the motion?
Question.
Question has been called. All those in favor?
Yep.
Yes.
All those opposed? The motion is carried. Does the Minister of Education, Culture and Employment concur with the amendment?
Yes, I concur.
Committee, the minister concurs with the motion. Clause 15 has been amended. To Clause 15 as amended, does committee agree?
Agree.
Thank you. Clauses 16 to 20, does committee agree?
Agree.
Yep.
Clauses 21 to 25, does committee agree?
Yep.
Agreed.
Clauses 26 to 29, does committee agree?
Yep.
Agree.
Does the committee agree that Bill 39, an act to amend the Post-Secondary Education Act, is now ready for consideration in Committee of the Whole as amended? MLA Simpson?
Thank you. I move that Bill 39, an act to amend the Post-Secondary Education Act, be reported to the Assembly as ready for consideration in Committee of the Whole as amended. Thank you.
The motion is in order. To the motion?
Question.
Question has been called. All those in favor?
Yes.
Agree.
All those opposed? Motion is carried. Bill 39, an act to amend the Post-Secondary Education Act, will be reported to the Assembly as ready for consideration in Committee of the Whole as amended. Thank you, Mr. Minister. Thank you to your officials. Members, this concludes the public portion of our meeting. Is there a motion to go in camera? Ron, thank you, MLA Bonnet Rouge. We will now move committee into camera. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.